I haven't checked my portfolios on Etoro or Vanguard, which are the two platforms where I hold the majority of my money, for a couple of weeks. So I thought I would check them and film my reaction, and I honestly hope I won't cry, because I don't expect to see anything good there. So if you want to see my results as well with me for the first time in several weeks, then keep watching this video. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Anastasia, and as always on this channel I talk about investing. I check videos of other YouTubers myself, and I've noticed that they are happily sharing their results when they are good. But since the market has gone down and started crashing, people tend to stay quiet, and for some reason they don't want to share the mistakes, and they don't want to share the losses with their viewers. Well, for me, it's important to see that other people are experiencing problems as well, which I assume a lot of people do nowadays, and it's not a problem for me to share my losses with you guys, and also it's not a problem for me to share my reaction because I haven't seen my results yet myself. I've done big changes a couple of weeks ago, and since then I literally haven't opened Vanguard or Etoro. If you've been following my channel, you know that for a couple of years since I've started, I couldn't help but check both platforms every single day, and I was moaning that Vanguard, because it didn't have and still doesn't have the app, was quite annoying because you always had to open the website from a browser. But actually now it doesn't matter, because there comes a point where you think, well, I'd rather not see what's going on, and this is the exact spot where I am right now. But I mean, it's not gonna change much, so I have to check what's going on, but I will give you more comments as I'm checking my portfolios. So let's start. We're gonna start with Vanguard. You will see my results there, and I will tell you what I've done with my portfolio recently, and then we will move on to Etoro, and you will see what's going on in my portfolio on Etoro as well. So for those of you who have just joined and who haven't seen my previous updates of my Vanguard account, I just want to remind you that on Vanguard I invest into S&P 500 and into a life strategy fund. At the beginning of the year I made a video with my plans, investment plans for this year, where I said that I don't set up any goals, which was a perfect decision, otherwise I'd be super down right now. But the idea was to use all of my ISA allowance until April. That didn't happen because I ended up finding another property that I invested that money in, which ended up being a very good idea on the other hand. So my investment stayed the same, which was around £7,000, until the war started in Ukraine, and I'm Ukrainian, and the morning the war started I panicked, and I panicked sold, and since then I was buying my shares back little by little, but still around 3,500 ended up not being invested and stayed in cash in my account, which I withdrew and also invested into the property instead. I also cancelled one of my direct debits and stopped buying S&P 500. Now I'm buying only my life strategy fund with 80% shares in it, and I have only £100 every month invested into that fund, so whatever happens happens, but I just didn't want to stop everything completely, waiting for better times. Okay, and now let's actually look at my Vanguard account. As I said, I have 3,500 invested, and I'm down 6.7%. which comes to £212. Oh, well, if you've seen my previous update, which I made at the beginning of the year, I was up 30%, and now I'm down just like that, just in a couple of months, basically minus 37%. That's a shame. But £200 doesn't seem like such a big sum. Look at the graph. It was going up and up and up, and then it jumped up right at the beginning of 2022 here, where I invested quite a lump sum into my account on the 10th of January. Beginning of the year, I thought, yeah, let's do it. and since then it's gone up just a little bit, and after that such a huge drop. But I also withdrew, as I said, about half of my money, so it doesn't hurt as much as it could. Let's look at my holdings. So the life strategy fund that I keep on investing regularly and automatically is minus £61, and I have £1,300 invested into it, and now it comes to 34% of my total portfolio. FTSE 100 UK is up, FTSE Japan is down, S&P 500 is down. I've been down only the second or third month after I started, and since then I've always been in profit, so it's quite sad to see that it's minus £91 now, but as I said, it doesn't hurt as much as it could. And so the total change is minus £155, and the rest of the losses comes from my son's ISA, but my son is very little, so he has a lot of time. I'm sure by the time he has the access to his money, is going to recover. Okay, now let's move to my Etoro portfolio. The last time I was making an Etoro update, I told you that I had about $25,000 in it, and I was up on my investment by several $1,000s. The best popular investor who I was copying was J Nemesis. Over the couple of years that I've been copying his portfolio, he's been up about 12% on average, and the last time I checked my Etoro portfolio, he was down, he was losing me money. I also had to withdraw some money from my Etoro portfolio to reinvest this money into property, so now my sum there is much smaller. I also sold a lot of my individual stocks and shares, so let's take a look. Okay, well actually I'm up $18 today, which is nice to see. So as you can see now, my portfolio value is £15,300, and this big drop that happened here, where I withdrew $4,700 on the 12th of May, and since then I kind of stayed, I suppose, on the same level. You know, it hasn't changed much, which is good, because when I was withdrawing this money, I had to do it on that day. I wasn't sure whether it was the best day to do it or not, because obviously the market has been down already. What's done is done, and now there is no point to regret it. Let's look at my portfolio. So my portfolio, I'm buying 0.00 Bitcoin. You know, I just bought very little at some point, and I'm minus 30% on Bitcoin, but cryptocurrency is crazy. It's worth making a separate video about it. My Dogecoin is like minus 88%, and I just don't see the point in withdrawing it. Airbnb shares are also down. How's my wheat doing? I'm making profits on my wheat investment. I made a video about why I think wheat is a good investment to buy right now. I bought very little just because I think there is a potential for the price of wheat to go down before it goes up again, so I'm just waiting. Coinbase, again, I just don't see the point in selling it when it's minus 83% from when I bought it. My Apple shares are up 7%, but I will show you the history of my portfolio activity, and you will see that I sold several Apple shares recently. On my Tesla, actually, I'm minus 19%, and if you watched my previous Etoro portfolio updates, I've always been up on my Tesla investments, but I also sold them a couple of weeks ago, and those purchases that I made a long time ago when Tesla shares were about £400–500, they are sold now, so obviously that's why only the later purchases I made at a higher price have stayed, and I'm not so worried about Tesla because it was done with the idea to hold it long term rather than trade, so I hope it will recover, and if I have some spare cash I might actually buy some more. But it seems like Tesla share price depends very much on Bitcoin price, just because of how much Bitcoin Tesla as a company holds, and I think right now that Bitcoin is going to go down even further, so I would expect Tesla to go down in price. And now look at the popular investors who I copy. So Baltic Seal is minus 7.18%, and if you think that this is bad, then look at the other popular investors who I copy. Yipper bond is minus 12%. So now if you compare Baltic Seal to Yipper, actually Baltic Seal is not that bad. And I had to close manually some of Yipper's investments because I needed to take some money out. And obviously when I did that, I desynchronized our results. That's why maybe if you open his page you will see that his results are better than mine, but I hope that they will recover soon, and I had no choice but to do it, so this is what I have. And J Nemesis is minus 14%. And as I told you, J has always been one of the best or the best performer I had. So now to see that he's minus 14%, which comes to $1,700, is really strange. The situation with J though is similar to the situation with Yeppe. I originally had over $12,000 invested into him and I had to withdraw some money, so I had to close some positions manually. So now our results are desynchronized as well. I will leave the links to my previous portfolio updates here, but there was one popular investor who I always told you was very consistent and always in profit, and I was saying that I'm very satisfied with his results. His name is Amar Singh, and as you can see now he's not in my portfolio, and that's not because I closed all the positions and stopped copying him, but that's because the stop loss was triggered because he was losing more than 20%. So as you can imagine, this person has been in profit for a very long time, basically since I started copying him. And then when the market started crashing, his performance was bad. I don't know whether he's recovered now or not, but I've just noticed one day that he just wasn't there. The stop loss was set up at 20%, and I honestly hoped that it would never get triggered, but it did. Okay, and now looking at the history of my portfolio, you can see that I made 11 trades in the last month, which is a lot for me. Usually I was making like less than 10 in a whole year. So as you can see, I sold some of my Apple shares with the profit of 26%, another one of 22%. Then I also sold Tesla shares with the profit of 56%, another one at 27, almost 28%. I also sold Johnson & Johnson with the return of 14%. So these were some good results. Now I also closed some of my smaller investments that I made at the beginning when I just started and I didn't really know what I was doing. So I sold my Nikola shares, my Near shares, BlackBerry and Bionanogenomics, and as you can see the results, they are minus 81%, minus 67, minus 76%, 78, 74 and 83. The good thing is that all those trades, all those investments, they were very little, they were like trials, and I had about $50 to $100 invested into each one of them. So when you see that it's minus 83%, the actual sum that I lost is not that big because I never invested much money into it. So what can I say? Actually, it's not as bad as I thought it would be, and I'm very grateful to the popular investors who I copy that they are not losing as much as they could, because I'm sure a lot of people are losing much more. What am I going to do now? Nothing really. I'm not going to invest anything into Etoro, and I'm going to keep on investing on the £100 a month into my Vanguard account, and then I will just wait and see. Thank you very much for staying with me until the end. I hope your results are better than mine, and I also hope to see you soon in my next videos. Bye bye.